is a walking beam of light with just the right amount of soul sparkle energy. Jade Ghenzer is a shamanic practitioner, energy healer, intuitive guide, and all-round soul whisperer. She's helped countless people reconnect with their inner truth, released what no longer serves them, and assists them to step boldly into their power. With crystals in one hand and a soul compass in the other, whether she's journeying through the spirit world or navigating the everyday magic of life, Jade brings ancient wisdom with a modern twist to healing. So light your sage and get ready to dive deep. We're about to stir the soul and tap into your inner magic with Jade Ghenzer. Welcome, Jade.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me, Belinda.
It's my absolute pleasure to have you here today. So we'll start with, tell me a little bit about yourself and where you grew up, Jade.
Okay, so I was actually born in the Philippines originally, and came here when I was in my early teens. We landed in Sydney, and I was in year 9 at the time. Grew up in Sydney. And then I went to uni in Sydney. I did engineering, electrical engineering, which is totally the opposite.
Practical. Completely practical.
But I did telecommunications.
Yes.
And so I did that for, 30 plus years, 35 years, until 2023.
Wow.
Yeah,
Long
December
time.
2023. But I've been also an energy healer from 2015. So
Wow.
it was alongside, I was doing both things at the same time.
Yeah. What brought you into energy healing? Was there a moment or an event that brought you into that space?
I've always been intuitive. So I've always seen and felt energy, more feeling. But it was more, I used to play with energy when I was a kid. And I remember when I would be with my friends, and we used to play these games wherein we'd pull each other by the energy field. This was me as a kid.
So where did this come from?
This is in the Philippines.
No, but where did this come from? Did you see someone talking about energy? Did you hear it? Is it at home?
No.
Is it... This is natural.
Yeah.
This is natural
Yeah.
intuition.
I used to play games with the weather, and I would just say, okay, on the snap of 3, it's going to stop raining, and it would stop raining.
I've tried
This was
that.
when I was a kid. Yeah.
Wow. And then your friends, so you would teach them about the energy game, and then...
We didn't call it an energy game. I can't remember what we called it. We would clap our hands and then heat them up, heat the palms up.
Yes.
And then because when you heat the palms up, they become sensitive, and then you'd start pulling like that.
Wow.
Yeah, and because as kids you just believe it, you don't disbelieve anything. We used to play those types.
It's real.
Yeah.
That just reminds me of Mr. Miyagi, hands together, rubbing. Remember in Karate Kid?
Yeah. And so but here in Australia, once we got here, it's a little bit more secular, and it's not very spiritual, not really. But I was always into tarot and palm reading, so palmistry. All through my 20s, I was into tarot. And in 2012, something got me into studying energy healing. So I studied a diploma course in Sydney.
I bet it was passion. I bet it was just passion, because that's what you've always been interested in.
I have always been interested in it, but I also wanted to do it for my family and for myself, because I did have asthma. I still have a little bit, not as much as before, but it was more just to help myself and see if I could practically use it for my family. And then I enrolled in that course in 2012. I finished in 2015, and off I went. Yeah.
And haven't looked back. So the growth that you would have seen within yourself and your practice, so you've started with the energy healing, and then you moved to shamanic practice as well.
Mm-hmm. With the shamanism, that was sort of a natural movement. I'd observed that the way that I was healing people was similar to shamanism already. but I didn't really know until I studied it. When I started studying it, I thought, wow, that's actually what I've been doing all along without having known. They have these three worlds in shamanism: the lower world, the middle world, and the upper world. The upper world is all your astrals, angels, star beings. The middle world is this world, but you can go backwards and forwards. So move forwards in time, go backwards in time, go to other timelines in the same world. The lower world is all the elementals, the animal spirits, the plant kingdom, the earth elementals as well, like the spirits of the rocks and all that. So what I've been doing was using the middle world journey to go backwards into people's past lifetimes. And I didn't know that I'd been doing it already.
So past life regression.
No, not regression. So when technically when you regress someone, you're going into their past life
Real time.
And usually they're not asleep.
Mm-hmm.
Usually they're not asleep. They're actually awake and aware.
Mm-hmm.
What I do is my clients are in a meditative trance, and if this is what is needed in the healing session, I get told by the guides that you need to go to this lifetime. I don't know what lifetime it is that they're going to show me until I get there. And then I'll think, oh, yeah, this is really, really ancient.
So are you walking around in their area, in that life?
Not so much walking. It looks like a movie in my mind.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And so tell me the difference between if you're saying they've got a great crossover, what's the difference between the energy healing that you do and then the shamanic healing?
So the shamanic healing is really great for removing curses, family curses, removing
Healing?
healing traumas based on an event in your life that would have had a very significant effect on you, and maybe even a traumatic effect on you. If you can, because the thing with the energy field and energy healing is the mind does not distinguish between what's real and what's imagined. So to the mind, it's all the same. Mm-hmm. It still thinks everything is real. If you can go back to a specific core memory that's a traumatic memory and take that person back to just before that memory.
In this life memory?
Yes.
Yes.
Or in a past life.
Okay.
If you can take them back to that specific core memory just before it happened and then divert them to somewhere else to do something else and avoid that traumatic event.
Yes.
Then the mind will say, oh, that didn't happen anymore, which means the mind is a template. The mental body is a template to the emotional body, which is a template to the physical body.
Yeah.
So if in the mind it's not there anymore, that memory, whatever the effect in the physical body will also go.
So I will still remember the trauma that happened, but the problematic trauma that I am experiencing will be less or gone.
The emotional trigger will be gone.
Wow.
The emotional trigger will be gone. Anything that gives you discomfort, so if you get anxiety or panic attacks from it, it'll be gone.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable that I have never had shamanic done to me. I need to do that. You're the woman to do it.
I did that this year actually with one of my clients. He had a traumatic event happen to him when he was in his teenage years, which basically, I'm not going to say exactly what it happened, which basically cascaded into panic attacks into his current, right now. Ooh. And we took him back, diverted the event, and have something else happen instead. No more panic attacks.
Wow. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Even he was quite surprised how quickly it shifted.
So I imagine you would have to be open to shamanic and energy healing.
Yes.
That's something that's the person that's on your table would have to be open to.
The client has to be open and believing of it, because what it does, it opens a channel of healing between the healer and the client.
Yeah.
And it's not just an exchange on the physical level, it's an exchange also at the level of your guides.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we go back to the shamanic guides, the ones up in the higher?
Yeah, the
Tell me about the
angels.
higher ones.
So that's usually angels, galactic beings, aliens.
Guides?
Guides,
Yep.
yes. They're all up there.
Ancestors?
No.
No ancestors, yep.
Ancestors tend to be on the middle world. Yeah, because they're all on the same plane as you.
Yeah. And so if my guides are trying to get my attention, what am I looking for?
Okay, so you will, first of all, you would have asked the question somehow, usually. You start looking for signs.
For me, it's numbers.
Numbers. So
1111.
1111 or 2222 or
Yes. Yep.
or 666 or 777 or
1, 2, 3,
888.
4, 5. Yep.
Yeah. So you start paying attention. And then you start paying attention to what happens after the numbers show up. Yeah.
Yeah, because I've had 1111 for a very long time, and then also white feathers.
Oh, white feathers usually means angels.
Yeah, I see them
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah. It usually means that you're on the right path.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's how I take it.
Yeah.
That is exactly how I take it to mean. Continue on, as you were. My angel is saying to me. Oh wow. Okay, so tell me more about the guides. What other things can you tell me about the guides? So we have to ask the question and then look for signs. Are they the same guides that go with us through our different lifetimes?
Sometimes it's different. Sometimes they change at different times of your life. So the time of transition from childhood to teenage years, there'll be a changing of the guard almost, or changing of the guide.
Yeah.
And then again, between teenage years to being a grown up, and then at motherhood, there's another change. Yeah. So
Wow.
yeah.
Unbelievable. I used to talk to my guides, but I haven't for a long time.
And sometimes you have multiples.
Yeah.
You don't have to have just one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Several. And then, okay, now go back to the middle field with ancestors. Tell me about them.
So ancestors, what would you like to know first of all?
Well, I would like to know, like, how do they affect my current life?
It depends. If you have made vows or sacred contracts that relate back to that lifetime. So, for example,
So
if you had, say, in a previous lifetime, made a contract with a partner or whoever, maybe your parent back then, that you will see them again in the future, or you will always be with them, they could be just hanging around. They're probably part of your family now.
Yeah. So in that respect, we have the same soul. What do you call them?
Soul family.
Soul families. Yeah. So this is kind of like a soul family.
Yeah, it is. It is.
So in each life, I've read that you have the same soul. You have a soul family, and you, like a contract, like you said, you'll come into that life, and it's already written. Your life is already destined. Is this the belief?
Well, there's two areas of thought there. Some people think it's a plane of free will. Some people think it's predestined.
The what will be will be.
Yeah,
That's kind of always been my mantra.
yeah. But I think that it's a combination of both. I think that you come in with your soul family that you've agreed to enact almost like a play of sorts, so that you can learn the lessons of this life.
Yep.
But you're helping them just at the same time as they're helping you. And you can you can, you can exert your free will and say, okay, I'm not going to play, right?
Not today.
Not today. But then what happens is you sabotage, you self-sabotage yourself.
Yeah.
And then it reenacts itself somehow later on.
Yes.
And then if you still decide that you don't want to play, something happens in the physical body,
Right.
and it actually, spirit will tell you, right, you have to now stop and listen, and I will deliberately slow you down.
Yeah. This was your path.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's unreal. And so what kind of emotional or physical issues will your clients usually come to you with? So we've got trauma, we've got emotions. Tell me about physical healing. So physical, I've got a sore elbow, or I've got chronic headaches, things like this.
So I usually have, with the healer, depending on the healer, just to give you an idea, usually the healers themselves are learning lessons themselves. So each of your healers that you go to, they don't even know it, but they usually have a specialty. And usually it's whatever they're learning themselves. So when I started out healing, my weakest organ and my weakest thing was my communication, because I did not know how to communicate. I was so introverted.
So shy?
Very shy. I did not know how to I did not know how to do public speaking. I would be the quivering mess.
Yeah.
when I was younger, when I was when I was going through my career in telecommunications, and I had to speak to a group, I'd be a mess. But
Sweaty palms.
Anxiety. My voice would be shaking. I'd be losing my way in my notes.
And so did you heal that?
Yes. Well, I had to.
Yeah.
I had to get over it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so, who did that? Did someone else heal you, or did you use your traits that you'd learned?
So, because as part of the energetic healing diploma, we practice on each other. Mm-hmm. So I basically availed the services of the other students that I was going through, and also occasionally went to my own energy healer. But at the same time, I was healing myself.
Yes.
Every time you heal a client, and this is something that healers don't say, every time you heal a client, you're also healing part of yourself.
Wow.
Because each client is a mirror of something within you that still needs to be healed.
That's fantastic. And so, so let's just step back in time to when you said you was little, and you had your games, your energy games. Did you see auras? Can you see auras, or did you teach yourself to see them?
I can see the outline of an aura.
Yeah.
The happier a person is, I can usually see. It's just a very filmy outline. It's much more obvious when it's sunny and when the person is moving.
Yeah.
If someone's just still, it's hard to see.
So you can't see mine?
No, not at the moment.
Yeah.
But if you're jumping up and down or moving, and say you're moving and there's a background of trees behind you, I'd probably be able to see it.
Wow.
Yeah. It's just a very faint, subtle change of shade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And astral projection? Have you ever astral projected?
No.
No, I've tried,
no.
but I haven't either. That just came to me. Sorry, I had to ask that question.
People, like individuals, feel and see energy differently.
Yeah.
There's just that much variety in the way people do it. It's very personal.
Yeah.
So there will be people who can do astral projection, but they can't see auras.
Yeah.
Some of my students, when I used to lecture in Sydney, used to be able to see auras, but they used to be able to see the colours in the auras as well. Without, you know how you'd go to the Mind Body Spirit Festival and they had a special camera.
Yes.
One of my students could do it without the camera.
Unbelievable.
She could see the blobs of colour.
Could she?
Yeah, and she could switch it on and off.
Oh. So she'd be walking around saying, oh, that person's not doing great today. Well, that one's had a really great day.
She did. Well, when in class, she would just switch it on and
Yeah.
and you know, she'd say, "Oh yeah, there's a lot of yellow there. Something wrong with your stomach."
And so, oh, there you go. She's got some good skill. So when you are doing either your shamanic or your energy healing, and you are going back through past lives, and it's coming to you like a movie, and then you complete your session and you tell your client what you saw, how is it usually taken? How does the client take that?
Usually, they receive it,
Yeah.
like, you know, in an open manner, because first of all, they've been open already coming into the session, and they just some are surprised, some are amazed. Tell you this example. So this happened years ago. So this was maybe 2019 when this happened. This is a client in the US. So I did it via Zoom.
So you can remotely
Yeah.
do your energy and shamanic healing?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
I know in Reiki you can as well. I've done that.
Yeah.
My friend was giving birth and I was giving her Reiki healing
Yeah.
throughout her birth, and yeah, she really
felt-
appreciated it.
Yeah. No, you can do remote. That's I love energy healing for that one. Anyway, so she was in, where is she? She's in Utah, and we were doing a series of sessions with her because she wanted to go through the different organs that are her weakness. So my thing is, I always ask the client to what their weakest organ is, what they think their weakest organ is, and then we normally, but normally it's not just one. There's usually one top one, but usually there's about three, and so we put it in order, and then I think it was one of the last sessions, and she said, "Oh, I can't believe I haven't told you this, but ever since I was a child, I've had restless leg syndrome. So all this time, she can't sleep still. She's always kicking pillows, blankets off the bed, and now she's married and she's always kicking her husband at night."
Yes.
And she said, "Can we have a look at that, please?" And because the more often I see a client, the more connected I become to them energetically, and my guides become connected to them energetically as well. So usually there's not too much preamble. I pretty much start getting downloads right away. And I said, "Let's get you on the bed because it's already started. Let's get it, you know."
And this is still remotely. She's on her bed.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. She's remote. This is remotely. Let's get you into that meditative trance, and let's start this immediately because it's already coming.
Yep.
And what I saw was this. So she was in another. It was another life, and she was a keeper or a gatekeeper or a keeper of some huge energy transmitter or receiver, and it was basically a mountain of crystal. And it was really ancient. It was somewhere like South America, or it could have been North America even. And she was basically looking after this area, and she was responsible for this area. But she was a he in this lifetime. And there were people who were from a different tribe or a different race that were invading the land. And the one thing that she was told was to protect this energy transmitter. And the only thing that she could do was she had to basically destroy it. But it wasn't her destroying it. It was the consciousness within the crystal was not allowing it to be conquered. So it was going to destroy itself. And she ended up on top of this mountain, and it explodes underneath her legs, which caused the restless leg syndrome. And the moment we figured out what it was, it stopped. Her restless leg syndrome stopped from there.
And she'd had that
She'd
her
had that
whole life.
Her whole life.
And it's gone.
And it's gone.
Do you know how annoying restless legs syndrome would be?
But
That is
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
So so the moment I said that, this is what was happening.
Yeah.
It was like the penny dropping.
It triggered something.
It did.
And it healed her.
It healed her.
Oh, wow. And that was on the last session. She would have been glad she just thought of that syndrome. For sure.
Yeah.
Wow. Are you still doing palm readings?
No, I don't do palm readings.
Yeah. Do you read your children's?
No. This was me basically going to other.
You were
palm
into
readers.
it. You wanted to know.
Yeah.
Okay. And so give me one lesson that the spirit world has taught you that has changed your life.
So many.
Give me the best ones then.
The best one is that if you want to make things happen, then you have to make sure that you think about it first. You visualize it in your mind, and it will eventually happen for real.
So, if you've got a goal.
A goal. Mm-hmm. So you write it down, or you think about it first. You write it down. Mm-hmm. You fixate on it.
Are you talking to your guides about it when you're writing it down and thinking about all these things?
You fixate on it, and then you make the moves to make it happen, and it will always happen.
Wow.
So if you think about it, you've been doing it all your life already.
Yeah.
Ever since you were a kid.
Yeah.
You know, when your mum tells you, what would you like for Christmas?
Yes. Yes.
You already know in your head what you're going to get. This is what I want.
Yeah.
And this is what you get.
Yeah. So, okay, good. Because a lot of people I know actually do this. They write it down, they have it on a board or something like that. What was that book back in the day? There was a really popular book, and it was about asking for what you want and then receiving it.
I can't remember.
It was a black cover. Well, our listeners will know what I'm talking about, but there was a book about that. Yeah, asking for what you want and then receiving.
People used to do vision boarding, I think.
Yeah.
But basically the idea is, it's the idea of the same thing that I said before. The mental subtle body is the template.
Yes.
You deposit your thoughts and your beliefs and those images that you want in the mental body. And then over time, it comes into the physical. So it happens for things you want. Mm-hmm. It happens for disease, so limiting self-beliefs. Yeah. It happens for situations like, I want a happy life. I want a holiday. It happens for everything.
Yeah, unreal. So, how does your family at home? Do they use these energy skills that you would have taught them?
No, my husband's not really into it. No.
He's more pragmatic.
He's very pragmatic, but he's selectively into it.
Yeah.
So years ago when he put his back out, and it was a week before Christmas, he said, I've done everything. So he's taken his painkillers. He couldn't. He needed a pair of crutches to walk, and I said, okay, let me try something. I was like in the last years of my diploma. I said, let me try something, and we got him up and running within 3 days.
Wow.
Whereas about 5 years before, he couldn't do anything.
No, wouldn't let you touch.
No. So selectively. If it works, it works, because he's desperate.
Yeah. If he needs it, he'll let you do it. Okay, so what's your go-to ritual when Mercury is in retrograde and everything is going haywire? Everything's going wrong. What do?
Do not use email. Because Mercury is all about communication.
Oh, yeah.
So usually all of your communication devices start going haywire.
Yeah.
Just communicate in person. Yeah, stop.
So that's what you do. You just turn the computer off.
Turn the computer off. Stay away from social media as much as you can. if you can. Just don't consume social media.
Yeah.
Put content out, but don't consume.
Yes.
Because you'll get triggered. That's why.
Yes.
So just and stay away and meet people in person instead of using technology.
Yeah, agreed. Now, what about this is a question I ask all of my guests. Have you ever seen a ghost or a UFO?
No.
No UFO?
No UFO.
No ghost.
No.
Can you?
I have felt presence in places,
Yes.
but I haven't seen them.
What does it feel like?
It's like a thickness of the air. It's like the air thickening.
Yeah.
It's like dense, very dense energy. And usually the sound is different. It's almost like the sound is muffled all of a sudden. You don't hear any birds. Bird life almost disappears. You don't hear like the little skittering of insects.
Yeah.
It all disappears.
So that's the feeling you get.
Yeah.
Wow. And have you always had that?
Well, I hardly ever encounter it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
So I haven't seen a ghost either, Jade, or a UFO, but we are about probably 60% ghosts with the guests so far, and still around 7% on a UFO.
Oh, UFO is going to be hard.
Yeah, but I want to see one. I've seen tons of shooting stars, tons and tons and tons, but they go across the sky. They don't dart around.
Yeah, no, I mean, and the thing is, when you look at what's on social media, it's hard to detect what's real and what's not. So
Yeah. Now, one more question. I know I said that was my last, but I do have one more. So, if we're talking about reincarnation, let's say the body passes away here.
Mm-hmm.
Where does the soul go? Do you have an opinion or a thought about that? And then it comes back into its next life. So, is there somewhere that they go, or is that the guides?
there is a plane
Yeah.
that they all congregate at in between lives.
Yeah.
Sometimes they wait a long time there to rest before they reincarnate.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I believe.
This is your personal belief.
Yeah,
yes.
this is what I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they have another life after. But yeah,
So we don't know where the soul goes, but it's on
Yeah.
a plane because they can't just disappear. And there is such a thing, is it 7 grams that a body,
21.
21 grams a body loses when it passes away?
It's that movie,
Yeah.
21 grams.
I have never seen the movie,
Yeah.
but I did see an episode of something recently and they were testing it in a facility and yeah.
It's the weight, the weight of the soul.
The soul weight.
Yeah.
So it exists. The soul exists is the proof.
I think it does. I think it does because consciousness and the being that makes decisions, that thinks, that makes, that says, okay, we're going to move this way through this world.
And it makes you who you are.
Yeah.
If someone else's soul is in you, you're a different Jade.
Yeah.
You're called Jade, you look like this, but you're a different person.
And that's the part of you that continues.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really don't, I think this is only a receptacle for experience. And then who you are as Jade and Belinda, you move on and experience something else.
Yeah. And it's like when you meet somebody as well and you instantly feel like you know them, or you meet somebody and you instantly really, really relate to them, or
you
the
click to them.
opposite.
Yeah.
I do not like this person. Probably it's your soul, because it's not what you look like, it's what's inside of you.
That's true. That's very true. Because sometimes it's visceral, isn't it, when you don't like someone? Yeah.
Doesn't happen all the time, but it has happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then obviously, you got your chakras. I was about to say to you, like, when I get a bad feeling, it's going to be my solar plexus. That's what I'm feeling if I get a bad feeling in a room or with a person, something like that.
Yeah.
But I have aligned my chakras. They're all good right now.
They're good. Well, the solar plexus chakra is all about your relationship with yourself.
Yeah, okay.
So if you think that the self, or if a part of you feels that the self is being threatened, then you get the bad feeling.
Like an anxiety feeling.
Yeah. And you got to listen to it.
Oh, I always listen to it. Yeah, yeah.
So you go into a room and you feel like something's off. Yeah, just step out.
Step away.
Yeah,
Step
there's
away.
probably someone in that room that's not meant for you.
Well, Jade, I think what you do is incredible. I've always been a believer in energy healing. Shamanic blows my mind. What you've told me today is unbelievable, and I'll be doing research on that as well. And then I want to come and see you, and we might do. You might step into my energy and have a play. Have a play in my energy. Put your hands together.
Yes, yes.
That would be really great.
That would be exciting.
Thank you so much today. I had a wonderful time listening to this because, like I said, I've always been interested, and I really appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me, Belinda.
Thank you, Jade.